Welcome to Startup Passport by Econsulate. We are here at the AI Asia Summit organized by the SLASSCOM Sri Lanka. Today we are here with Mr. Hussain Shabbir, who's Senior Director and Global Head of AWS Practice at Virtusa. Thank you very much for being here with us. Hussain, I want to focus more on your role first and then delve into other questions later. Could you elaborate a bit more on your role at Virtusa and especially focusing on AI in enterprise?
Sure. So thanks for having me. So, like you said, I'm heading the AWS practice globally at Virtusa. But from a Sri Lanka perspective, I head the cloud and AI technology aspects, predominantly looking at the solutions, the pre-sales angle, and kind of allowing and helping clients adopt cloud and AI in their environments. I am also driving the global cloud training and certifications initiative. We have done about 9,300 people certifications achieved in the last few years, and overall, focused on AWS, but from a Colombo standpoint, entire cloud spectrum as well as AI.
Right. So, picking up from what you've spoken about your role, we've also experienced a major boom in AI with the launch of GPT for the general public.
Yes.
Do you think it has impacted the enterprise level as much as the public, or it has impacted more in some cases?
No, definitely, and more or less from a end user standpoint, I think now with the prolific introduction of Gen AI, people are seeing a lot of impact in their lives. But we have been actually working with enterprises on AI per se for many years now. We have a dedicated AI practice and so on to cater to that need. And what has happened and what we have noticed is that even that level of adoption has now increased at the enterprise level because of the buzzword Gen AI now.
Yeah.
So we are looking at a lot of enterprises where they want to implement or include AI related features in their platforms and solutions. And then we help them either by looking at the existing platforms and seeing what type of AI functionality is already there and how those functionality can be integrated so that it works between platforms as well. So we come in and bring in that type of a integration between the platforms. Or if there is no AI functionality right now, then how can we build that for them?
Right. I'd also want to ask, what type of challenges do large organizations, I want to focus much on the large organizations here, in implementing AI solutions at the enterprise level?
So one of the key things that generally we also recommend and discuss with the clients is, do you want to buy technology that is already out there? Do you want us to build it for you? And there are advantage, pros and cons for each, right? So building something that is already there reduces the time taken to implement. However, you are kind of limited to what is already there. Whereas building something which is specific to your requirement, you make sure that you can cover the entire use case properly. But having said that, you have to spend a little bit more time and effort. Now, one thing that we have seen is that something that we build today becomes available 2 months down the line, 1 month down the line, by someone else. So we have spent some effort building something, but that is now becoming a platform brings it as an existing feature. But having said that, we can't stop innovating, right? We can't wait for someone else to do it for us. So a lot of companies and enterprises that we work with are willing to take that risk and allow us to implement some of these solutions for them, for the simple fact that they don't want to wait, and then also they want to have control over what we are building for them. So that is kind of one. The other biggest problem that we are seeing is in the enterprise, there is a lack of skilled people when it comes to AI. Of course, you will have your technical people, you'll have a business people, but on the AI side, it's a very technology heavy subject, and it can be very difficult because the technology itself is changing so rapidly.
Right.
And it's not something where only the technical people need to get skilled. Even the business people need to know what is the art of the possible and so on. So that is another challenge that we are seeing. Of course, the cost. Now, doing a POC, you can limit the cost. You can sandbox it and make sure. But when you want to scale it, and especially if you have done your use case implementation properly, the adoption will be quite fast. So then you also have to, while you're doing the technology solution, to also keep in mind that it has to be scalable in a cost-effective manner. So these are some of the high-level challenges that we see in the projects that we have implemented.
Right. When talking about large organizations, how do you see the collaboration in innovation is needed when addressing like larger level problems that are applicable for generally like the entire organization or the entire ecosystem of the stakeholders around that large organization?
Yeah, I think that is key, right? We generally don't talk only to the people who are looking after the technology, because they will want to implement the best technology in the solution that we want to implement. But having said that, then you don't focus on the people who are actually having the problem, the business. Yes. So collaboration is very key, where it is not a technology kind of driven solution, but it's a business driven solution, but with the implementation done by the technology team. So but the technology team has to understand what the problem that the business teams are undergoing, and then come up with a solution that is suitable for their requirements. And then sometimes, in some cases, the technology trends and the technology focus is slightly different to what you would have originally thought, but then we have to do that to ensure that we are aligned with the business goals.
And since you talked about the trends that are like being evolved, I want you to highlight a few trends that might impact the enterprise segment especially when it comes to AI.
Yeah, so I think the biggest trend that we are seeing right now and potentially in the future is Gen AI. Now, AI and Gen AI are kind of, you can consider it a subset, right? But Gen AI is about creating something from scratch, right? You're generating something using AI. So whether it is text, whether it is images, videos, even PowerPoints for that matter, you give it some kind of input and then it generates it for you. It elaborates for you, or it makes it better. AI, on the other hand, is not only about that, or it's something where it makes sense of data that you sometimes wouldn't have been able to. So if you have tens of thousands of log files, it takes forever to go through. It can do that very quickly and tell you that this is the problem that you are trying to identify, and here's what how it happened. So in that context, the trend of Gen AI is easier for the end users to understand, but from an enterprise standpoint, it's a lot more heavy on the AI side. Then data, right? So now data is the new oil. We need data to train the model so that it can give more accurate output. Without accurate data and a good abundance of data, you won't be able to get the outcomes that you are expecting from the AI and the models that you are trying to implement. So data, if it is not implemented and aggregated in the way that would be beneficial, and if it is siloed in different areas, then that is not going to help the cause. And then finally, I think the responsible AI, the governance, the following of regulations is something that has to be looked at also, because it is people's data, right? You're using that data, which is going to spit out some kind of a recommendation, and therefore it is something that is important to keep in mind. And those are some of the things that are kind of trending from an AI standpoint now.
Right. Thank you very much, Hussain. You've elaborated everything in the industry standpoint, especially from the enterprise point of view, pretty much of a 360 view on how to adapt the new AI technologies, and then how Virtusa does it from your standpoint as well. Thank you very much for taking part in Startup Passport. Thank you.
Thank you.